Here we've got a 2009 Ford S-Max, which I'm going to show you how to remove the radio from on these cars, because it is a little bit more involved than most cars, or most earlier Fords. Because Ford changed the shape of the radio, you may be thinking, how do I remove this to upgrade it? So the important fact here is in 2008, Ford changed the shape of the radio from the square one to this more rounded shape. The older square radio, you just put in 4 keys and put it out, job done. On these, it's a little bit more complex, but it's still not really that hard. This is a titanium model with the uprated Sony system and Sony audio system, though this is the same for the lower spec models 2008 onwards that have the basic 6000 CD radio, non-Sony one, the Ford branded one, but still this shape where there's no actual holes or anything. It's not square, it's rounded off. You can see people call it the oval shape, but it's not actually oval. It's more like a rounded square with cut off corners, I suppose. So here's how you remove it. Behind this trim, there's 4 screws which hold the radio in each corner. 1, 2, 3 and 4. To remove this trim, you've got 2 pieces of trim to remove beforehand to access the screws. So this top piece with all the buttons pops out. So get a pry tool in there, pop this out, be careful of the buttons, unplug the buttons, and then this just pops out and exposes them screws. So let me sort that now. As you can see, I've got it half pried off. I've left it attached over there so you can see how I've sort of taken it off. It's only clipped on. You can sort of get in there carefully with a flat blade screwdriver or ideally a trim pry tool. Just be careful the dash. Now the dash is actually quite flexible and it will sort of bend to allow you to get in there without damaging too much, but do be careful because you can actually misshape the dash if you pull it too much. But once this is free, you can sort of work along all the way along and that becomes free then. Switches, I've got buttons on the bottom of the plug, and then wiggle it out. Don't worry too much, you can't mess up the connectors, they only plug into the right one. And there is your trim off. Now on the titaniums, this is the brushed steel trim. On basic models, I believe it is just grey. So gears would have had the wood trim, but gears didn't have the oval radio, they had a square one as standard. The next, so you can see you've got 2 screws there. The next part is your 2 more screws are hidden behind there. You could probably get away just pulling this out and this side out to access it, but for ease, the whole lot all the way around the handbrake pulls off, and then back here as well. But I'm just going to pull them and just carefully lever it out of the way. Just be careful not to break it if you go for the lever it out of the way. 4 screws, and then this plastic and the heater control panel comes out. There's your 4 screws removed. They are Torx 15 screws, T15 bit. Once those 4 screws are removed, this panel pops off as one. It'll be a little bit fiddly because I've got this trim sort of getting in the way, but it comes out as one and reveals 4 more Torx 15 screws for the radio, and that is it. There's the 4 more screws out the radio. As you can see, they are all the same screw, so you don't have to worry about mixing them up. Now they are out, the radio itself wiggles out like so, and you get access to all the connections on the back. Now I'm going to have to work out what I'm doing here because I've got trim pieces everywhere. But yeah, that's how you take it out. Pull it out now, unplug everything off the back, and that's your radio removed. So I removed the stock radio here. This is a Sony with DAB. Not all of them have DAB. And the difference that makes is this plug here. This is the DAB aerial. Other than that, it's got a normal aerial plug and the standard quad lock plug, which is standard on all Fords, all modern Fords since early 2000s. The radio I'm going to be fitting is this touchscreen one, which I'm just getting out of the box, which I've attached all the wires to. There's a lot of wires there, and I'll talk through everything in a minute. It's quite a common fitment for people to fit, is this touchscreen one. Okay, so we've got the dash all back together. Radio's fitted, looks really good.